Good evening and good afternoon, viewers from all walks of life. This is Denzomus, and you're welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking the industry. If you are new on this channel, I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I talk about spirituality, and I talk about personal and self-development. And if any of that resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us, give us a like, share the video with friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. So today's video, I'm going to focus on the events that are going to happen when the black sheep finally walks away. Now, it's very important for you guys to understand. Anybody you lose in your life, it doesn't matter whether that person has passed on or whether you have just unplugged yourself out of those kind of situationships or maybe sometimes relationships. You have got to go through a mourning process. You have got to understand that it is the same feeling you feel when you leave a dysfunctional family behind. It is the same feeling you feel as though you've just lost somebody. So it's like somebody has passed on. It is going to be very intensive. So you're going to now get used to having to live life by your own means. You're going to start thinking outside of the box. You're going to start thinking about your own independence, your own liberty, and your own freedom. And you also have to come to that conclusion that you're most likely not going to see your family ever again. So when you're talking about the black sheep leaving a dysfunctional family unit, it's a permanent situation. There's no going back. There's very few chances that you're going to go back and join a dysfunctional family unit. So we're talking about a permanent situation. You're going to live forever. But you see, the thing is, the black sheep, you're also the scapegoat. I've told you guys previously in my videos, the black sheep, you're also the scapegoat. So there will come that point where you feel you've had enough. You know what I mean? You feel you've had enough. So leaving a dysfunctional family unit, it is the same feeling you get like when you're leaving a narcissist behind. So because remember that with the dysfunctional family unit, you're also dealing with narcissists, you're dealing with flying monkeys, you're dealing with the enablers. So you're dealing with the whole team of people that always have been used to ganging up on you. Now, the first thing you need to understand is that the narcissistic parent, they're not expecting you to leave that unit. That's the first thing. There is nobody in that family is expecting you to extract yourself out of that unit. They're all thinking that you're going to be there, whatever is going on, in the background, the abuse and all these kind of manipulation games. They're always believing that you're always going to be there and you're always going to be the victim. So you're always going to be, because you see, one thing you have to understand, guys, a dysfunctional family unit has got to operate with a scapegoat. So the scapegoat or the black sheep, you are the one who is completing that whole cycle. You are the person who is completing the whole cycle. Without you, the cycle is incomplete. So by you realizing that you've been in abuse, you've been involved with the dysfunctional family unit, a toxic family unit, and you extract yourself out of that unit, number one, what you're going to expect is that you're going to have to break the cycle. By you getting out of that unit, you're also breaking that cycle of abuse. Now, when the cycle of abuse is broken, you're going to experience a lot of disruption in the unit. So you're going to experience a lot of name calling. They're going to start fighting against each other. They are going to try to blame each other. They are going to try. They might even want sometimes to kill each other. There is going to be a lot of chaos in that unit. These may not be the things you want to hear. These may be the things sometimes you may hear them from your neighbors. You might hear that, oh, you know what? There's a lot of things happening there. Sometimes you may hear from some of your siblings. There is this brother of your brother was fighting against your sister was fighting against your dad. So there's going to be a lot of chaos in that family. So what happens now is that the narcissist, we're talking about the narcissistic parent at the top, what they will do now, when they figure out that you've left, finally unplug yourself out of the unit, So what they do, they are going to go on a massive smear campaign against your name. So they are going to bring all these family units together, all these other siblings, the enablers, the narcissists, and everybody who is behind, anybody that you've left behind. They are going to sit down together, and the narcissistic parent is going to smear your name. They are going to tell those people a lot of garbage about you. That is going to be one of the most painful things as a black sheep. It is going to be one of the most painful things you can ever imagine. Your own parents, your own brothers and sisters, your own family, they're going to gang up and they're going to come as a team, and they're all going to start smearing your name. So you're going to hear a lot of things about you. Now you have got to understand, people, ladies and gentlemen, you do not have power about their opinions. So you do not have power to stop that smear campaign. It's going to go on anyway because that is the pattern. It's the pattern how it works. That's the way the pattern works. So it has got to be, the smear campaign has got to happen because the narcissistic parent at the top, they are already guilty of whatever it is they've been doing to you. So they have got to somehow find a way of clearing their name. So they clear their name using a smear campaign against you so that now you can look like the bad one. You'll hear sometimes the narcissistic parent will tell the other siblings, "Oh, you guys, I always told you about this individual. I always knew something was wrong with this person. I always knew this was this." So you're going to hear a lot of garbage being sent behind your back. Now, it is not in your job. It is not your job, and it is not in your power to go around and defend yourself. You do not have to do anything. Allow the smear campaign to happen. It can happen sometime for months. It can go on and on and on and on. So you're going to be hearing continuously a lot of bad things about you. They are going to talk a lot of garbage. Do not react. Do not put a word there. Do not even think about what they are talking about. The only thing you're going to do is to focus on living and continuing to go very far away from those individuals. Do not defend yourself. Now, a time is going to come whereby they have smeared your name. It has been ages. They've been talking about you for years. They have been talking about you for months. And the time is going to come whereby whatever it is they are saying is not affecting you. You're carrying on with your life. You're moving on with your life. You're working on yourself. You're going through the healing. You're healing yourself. So a time is going to come whereby there's nothing more to be spoken. They have spoken everything and everything is finished. So there's nothing more to talk about. Now the whole situation is going to go quiet. It's going to go calm. After a couple of months, depending on who you're dealing with and the narcissistic, everybody's going to have a different situation. But depending on who you're dealing with and the toxic family that you've left behind, a time is going to come where everything is going to calm down and there's nothing more to talk about because whatever they are saying or whatever it is they are doing, you are sticking by the rules and you left, you're not coming back there. So what will usually happen is that now the narcissistic parent is going to identify, because remember, this is a family full of energy vampires. There's a lot of enablers, there's a lot of flying monkeys, then you've got the narcissistic parent at the top, you've got the enabling parent, so you've got a lot of energy vampires who have been feeding off of your energy for a very long period of time. So what is supposed to happen now? They are looking around within the family unit. They do not know what to do with themselves. They are thinking about the loss because they know that at some point they have lost you and you've left, regardless of whatever the situation, you have actually exited that unit. So what they are doing now, they are finding a way how they can now divert their attention, because remember that you have been in that family unit, you've completed the cycle, and most of the time a lot of negative attention has been coming your way. But at this moment in time, there's this gaping hole that has been left behind by you exiting that family unit. So what they will do now, the narcissistic parent at the top is going to identify another individual in the unit. So most of the times, I think through research and experience as well, the narcissistic parent has been known to recruit. First of all, they're going to recruit the golden child. They will recruit the golden child and they will try to make that golden child turn into a scapegoat. So you're going to see now a lot of attention from other siblings, the narcissists and the enablers. The attention is now going to be drawn towards the golden child. But you see, the problem is the golden child has not been crafted and has not been trained to take in that pain and to take in that BS the way you've been doing it over the years. So the golden child is having it very rough. Most of the times you might see the golden child reaching out to you. They might want to reach out to you. They might want to sometimes. So most of the times when you're talking about the Hoovers, because I've told you guys, when you leave a toxic family unit behind, you're also going to experience Hoovers. So what happens is that now the golden child will be the very first one to reach out to you. Because in most of the cases, it is very likely that the golden child is normally very connected to the black sheep. So if you have been involved with the toxic family unit, I want you to pay very close attention. You're going to see the golden child has always been very connected, very much connected. It may not be the case always, all the time, but usually the golden child has been very much connected with the black sheep, to the black sheep. So the golden child will sometimes try to reach out to you as a black sheep. That's if they have got your contact, and that's if they have got access to you. So they will try to they will try to tell you that, you know what, maybe you need to come back to the family, this and this. But most of the time, you're going to realize that the golden child is not telling you, they are not talking about the problem. The golden child has been part of the smear campaign. They have been sitting around in the circle together with the other family members, and they've been discussing your name, and they've been talking about you, and they've been saying a lot of BS. But most of the times when the golden child reaches out to you, they are not going to tell you what the problem is. The only thing you're going to hear them say, they are going to try to tell you to come back to the family. So they will ignore whatever it is has been said behind your back, and they are going to do everything in their power to make sure that they are sucking you back into that family. But the problem is, the golden child is not focusing on the problem. They are only focusing on you getting back into the family. They're not focusing on the problem as to why have you left the unit. Now, as a black sheep who will always stand by your words, you usually refuse those hovers, and you will stand by your word and stay out of that unit. Most of the times, if you're a very strong black sheep, I don't know of any black sheeps that have gone back to those units. If you have gone back to those units, I want you guys to let us know what has been the experience when you went back into the dysfunctional family unit. What has been your experience, and what are the things that have happened? But usually, as a black sheep who has had enough, you're not going to go back into that unit. What I'm trying to say here, you're not falling for the hovers. When that fails, in some case scenarios, because the golden child is having a lot of pressure on their head, so they are starting to see the abuse for what it is. They are starting to see on a very subconscious level the real reason why you left. They're starting to realize that that family holds a lot of toxicity. There is so many toxic members in the family. They're starting to see the parents for who they are. They're starting to see other family members for who they are. So they are realizing that actually this toxicity has always been a problem in that unit. And now they're starting to see some of the things that you used to see before you left the unit. But again, we have to remember that this golden child, most of the times the golden child is standing behind the narcissistic parent. So you will not hear them sometimes saying anything about the narcissistic parent or the other siblings. Most of the times you'll hear them saying, oh, so and so is toxic, this one is toxic. Can you imagine? This one told me this, and that's one, the sister told me that, and the brother told me this. So you're going to hear them talking about other family members, but you're not going to hear them talking about the narcissistic parent. The golden child knows there is a problem, but they do not know how to fix that problem. Let me repeat this. The golden child knows, and they can finally see what has been the problem in that unit, but they cannot fix that problem because they have been programmed and they have been conditioned to stand behind the narcissistic parent at the top. Now, as the time goes on, you may sometimes see cases where the golden child also tries to unplug themselves out of the unit. So they may sometimes try to distance themselves from the unit. They may carry on with their lives, individually, although it is not known if it's a permanent situation, because the golden child, normally they do not have that conditioning, all that power, all that courage that they can actually extract themselves out of that unit for good, permanently. So normally they will extract themselves temporarily, but sometimes you will see them sometime coming back into the unit. But now what is going to happen is that when the toxic family unit realizes that the golden child is not falling for the position that you've been taking, so they are not falling for that position of being a scapegoat. Sometimes they are fighting back, maybe because they are not used to absorbing that emotional pain that you've been used to over the years. So sometimes you see the golden child, they may temporarily go out of the unit, They may sometimes come back later on. But when that doesn't happen, that now the family is still missing a very important link in that unit. So what the family will do now, they are going to go and divert their attention towards the lost child. Now, it may not necessarily be the case all the time, but sometimes you will see the lost child is also the empath. There was that empath who was always very, very quiet and very distant from the family. Now, a lot of you guys, you may not really know who the lost child is. I'm going to put a link in my video. I've done a video about the lost child. In the dysfunctional family unit, there's always a person who they call the lost child. That is the child who has been watching things from a distance and they have not been participating in this chaos. They have extracted themselves from day one. They may sometimes have been seeing this problem, what it is, but they have usually tried and very hard tried to stay away from this unit. So they have been watching things from the background. The family is going to recruit the lost child and bring that child. Now they are going to suck back that child into the family unit. And they are going to now have a new scapegoat in the unit. So if you're out there and you're wondering, what are those people doing now? What is going on with the unit? What are they doing? So you have got to best believe they have been trying to work behind the scenes to recruit a new scapegoat in that family. If it has failed with the golden child, which it usually does fail to recruit the scapegoat, to recruit the golden child to become a scapegoat, they are going to recruit a new scapegoat, which is most likely the lost child. That's the child that everybody had ignored over the years. There's always been a child in that family that nobody want to talk about. The child has been doing their own things, very far away from the family. They are not concerned. They are not bothered. Every now and then they may come in and interact and give a message or two. But most of the times they are very distant from that family. They are going to recruit that child and they are going to bring that child back into the family and make that child the scapegoat. But I want to make something very important. I want to make you guys aware of something very, very important. There is a lot of disruption going on with the toxic family unit. There's a lot of name calling. They are continuously going to call you names. They are continuously going to blame you for all the chaos that has been happening. You're going to see a lot of siblings actually hate you more than they have hated you before. You're going to be able to see that a lot of people in that family, they have never liked you in the first place. So this whole thing was a facade. The whole thing was an illusion. They always wanted to keep you around to make you believe that you're very much wanted into that unit. But the very moment you step out of that unit, you're going to see those individuals hate you in a way you've never seen before. It is important for you, ladies and gentlemen, to understand black sheeps. It is not your job to fix a dysfunctional family unit. Let it go. Go out there and mourn. Take time off, mourn, cry, break a plate or two, heal and do whatever it is. Go to therapy. It does not matter what you want to do. Go and practice a lot of healing. When you heal, you're going to realize that those individuals, they never deserved you in the first place. You're going to be able to see the abuse for what it is. You can only see this abuse when you're outside of it. You cannot see the abuse when you are still involved with the whole team because they're going to bring a lot of confusion in your head. You can only see this abuse for what it is when you're outside of that unit. So black sheeps, you let it go. There will be disruption. There will be name calling. There will be blaming. There will be smear campaigns. But on top of that, there is going to be a new recruit. So if you're looking back in the toxic family unit and you ever hear that they have recruited a new person in that unit, that family member that has not been talked about, there's a family member who has always been out in the outskirts. They have already forgotten that member over the years. Nobody has been talking about them, but all of a sudden you see that family member coming back into that unit. That is when you know that the toxic family unit has recruited a new scapegoat in that family. So that person is going to become the new black sheep. And that pattern is going to continue on and on and on again and again. So it always happens like that. And the black sheep leaves. Now, this one we're talking about a family whereby it involves a lot of family members inside there. So there's a lot of couple of siblings there, maybe 6, 7 siblings, or even sometime more. They will always try to find somebody to take your position because a toxic family unit cannot function without a scapegoat. There has got to be a scapegoat who everybody is supposed to come around and dump their own garbage. So they're supposed to be, the reason why they call you a scapegoat is because there is family members in that unit who don't want to take responsibility for whatever is going on in their lives. So whatever it is happening in their lives, things have failed, things are going wrong with their lives, so they're struggling with different kinds of things. They have got to find somebody to blame. So you're always going to be the person who is like the emotional punching bag of the whole family. We're talking about the scapegoat. When you leave, they're going to recruit a new one, and that new one will go through the same cycle that you've always been, that you've gone through over the years. And when that person eventually leaves after a number of years, there will be also another one to come into that unit. Now, of course, you guys already know you can always put your input. Give me your input and let me know what you think. Let me know what has been your experience when you have left a toxic family unit behind. And until then, guys, like the page, share and subscribe. You can always book a session with me if you want to. You may donate and support my channel if you want to. And until then, I'll catch you guys in my next one. There's almost signing out. Peace.